Hey guys, hope everybody's having a fantastic day today, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Today I wanted to take a little bit of time and go over my top 5 EDC cleaver style, that's a double quote, cleaver style knives. They're not all going to be mini cleavers, but they're all kind of that angular cleaver style knife. They're all a little bit overbuilt, they're hardy, and they are in no particular order. I sat here with these 5 knives and was just torn trying to figure if they had to leave my collection and what order they would leave my collection. And that was just an exercise that I didn't enjoy. They're not leaving my collection. They're all staying with me. And so this is in no particular order. But the first of my top 5 mini EDC cleaver style knives is the Urban Supply Company F5.5. The F5.5 has been tried and true in several different iterations. It's come out in titanium, in micarta. They just came out with the blacked out G10. It is a fantastic knife, guys. It's a knife that if you've seen Kevin talk about them, and it is true, the detents are all, there's some variance between them. Mine happens to have one of the lighter detents, where Grateful Panic's is what I would consider on the much stiffer side of detent. But again, I'm not a detent diva necessarily, and I love the knife. I love the way that it fits my hand. I love the choil and that usable choil. I love the jimping that's put in all the right places on this very broad M390 blade. This is just a well-constructed knife with titanium aligners, M390 blade, and micarta handles. And I'm horizontal, so you can't really see it as much, but it is a drop-shutty liner lock knife. The pocket clip works very, very well on it. It's a short, kind of non-obtrusive clip. I love the grind lines on this tall, flat grind. It's just a very, very slicey knife that's, again, has larger blade stock. It can work through some material, but it will also shave hair. And that is one of my top 5s, one of my favorites, one of the ones in this subjective overview, because y'all's might be different, one of the knives that I really enjoy that makes me feel good. So that's the Urban Supply Company F5.5. Moving along, the Roxi 3. The Roxi 3 is a Todd Knife and Tool Design collaboration with a very snappy detent. It's a small, kind of futuristic design because Todd Knife and Tool kind of has that steampunky, real bold lines in their knives. But this is a little EDC cleaver that is fantastic, guys. This one happens to be an S35 VN with black blade, black titanium handles. The Roxi 3 has a great clip, as do all the Todd Knife and Tool collaborations, but this goes in and out of pocket very easily, and it also is very has good retention. This knife is very much a Warncliffe in terms of having a flat, tall grind, super slicey, and it's got the fuller, even though you've got the deployment hole or the front flipper, which this is a front flipper with the deployment hole. It also has the fuller that runs down the length of the blade that gives you really anywhere that you can make contact with the knife, you can get it to deploy pretty easily. And then it's a frame lock, and it's very drop shutty. And if we're looking at top 5 cleaver style EDC knives, I could not have a top 5 without having the Roxi 3. Shout out to brother Brandon Thrasher, who, when I was chasing the Roxi 3, he had one that he happened just to be selling, and made it available to me, held on to it for me for about a week until I could get everything together and make it happen. And brother, I appreciate you more than you know. I love the knife, and it's in good hands should you ever want it back. And that's the Roxi 3. Moving along, EMP EDC, one of my favorite manufacturers overall, overreaching. John and Jamie are fantastic human beings. Their knife designs are off the chain. The Nimble has probably seen more accolades and gotten more positive reviews than any knife I remember since I've been in the knife game, or been back in the knife game. But this is the actual Thick Boy version 1. The Thick Boy version 1 was just known as the Thick Boy. There's a version 2 that's come out where John has redefined where this choil is. It's more symmetrical. It works into the actual knife, so it's just a better choil, even though this choil, guys, is fantastic for me. This knife is drop shutty, and again, my point was the version 2 is going to have that revision, a couple of other little revisions, but it's just a fantastic knife, and it's great to see him continue to push the envelope, even on a design like this. This knife has a tall, I want to say it's a flat grind. Apologize, guys, the dog's choking up a lung over there. But this is a thick blade stock, M390 blade steel, titanium bolsters, micarta inlays. Another thing John made available is you can buy replacement scales that simply go in right here. And right here you can change these panels out for brass. You can change them out for different colored micarta. You can just personalize the knife a little bit if you want to. But it's super drop shutty. There's not a bad place to flick it. You can even flick it from the blade stock as I miss it. But just a fantastic EDC small cleaver. It is a flipper only, so it doesn't have a top flipper, doesn't have a rear flipper. But guys, be real, I mean, it does not need it. You can thumb roll it, you can slow roll it, you can deploy it very easily. And the clip on every EMP EDC that I've experienced is fantastic. This looks very similar in the width to the Nimble clip, but they are different. But it goes in and out of pocket with ease. It's just really a great clip, great retention. And this knife, even though all of these EDC cleavers are a little bit thicker, this carries like a much smaller knife. It does carry very unobtrusively in the pocket. And again, to quote Ray at Everyday City Carry, you could feather some sticks with this, or you could cut some cardboard, or you could open packages. So that's the EMP EDC Thick Boy version 1. Moving on in my top 5. Again, these are in no particular order, but it is the Berg Blades Slim. The Berg Blades Slim is a knife that came to my collection a little bit late. I experienced this knife by checking out Grateful Panic's. I'd seen it before, I'd seen reviews on it. For some reason, probably because I have enough EDC cleavers and didn't need another one, that I'd kind of overlooked this knife. But when that's the case and you've overlooked a knife, there's probably a reason for it. So if you have the chance to handle one, be warned that you might find out why it was, you know, so sought after in the first place, and you might find yourself buying one. This knife, guys, is great. It's manufactured by Wee's the OEM on this. It has amazing detent. It has fantastic lock bar access right here. It drops shut. Has very aggressive jimping, but not aggressive to where it's sore, just aggressive enough to catch my hand. I can get many different comfortable grips on this knife. It's got titanium bolsters. The whole thing is stonewashed, so the stonewashed bolsters, stonewashed blade. And then this carbon fiber was very unique. I mean, they had Arctic carbon fiber, they had kind of like Mars Valley carbon fiber, but this struck me as something just different. It was probably not the most popular because they also had Purple Haze, which I love, but I thought that this was a unique pattern and went with it, and I have no regrets. And that's the Berg Blades we manufactured Slim, which is spelled capital S, capital L, lowercase I, capital M. Why? I have no clue. To round out my top 5 cleaver style EDC knives is the Brian Brown designed Brian Brown Yeager. The Yeager is again what I would consider a Warncliffe slight cleaver style with a deep hollow grind that comes down and terminates to a very slicey edge. No jimping on the blade, but nothing that I miss because the knife does have a little bit more angular handle. I can get all 4 fingers into that. I can choke up to where the flipper would be. This is the flipper delete version. Does not have the flipper, so I'd have to be careful if I was going to use this area. But the way that I use knives for opening Amazon packages or breaking down cardboard, I don't think I'm going to put myself in a situation to where I could overly choke up on it. But the Brian Brown Yeager is, and I'll get this wrong, guys, this is someone's variation that EDC supply, maybe. It's in titanium with micarta, and it's got an M390 black wash blade. Very well done. I actually did not put skiffs in this. I bought skiffs for this and then came to realize that the action was so good, even though I'm horizontal here. It will just do a slow, controlled, robotic drop. But this is the Brian Brown Yeager. Again, a little bit longer in the handle than the other 4 knives that we looked at. And again, these are in no specific order, but you do see a common theme that I do like and prefer: deployment holes over thumb studs, definitely over flippers. Front flippers, I don't use them, but they're usually just because one has a thumb hole too. So if you look at these knives, every single one of them, with the exception of the wee Roxi, is a hole deploy only knife. That's because that's the way I roll, guys. That's the way I like them. The wee Roxi is a front flipper. Do I use the front flipper? Very rarely. Do I use the hole? Yeah, that's the way I open my knives. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you didn't find it totally boring. I do appreciate every time you stop by and take time to watch a video, to leave a comment. I am still learning to get back on comments on YouTube. I've been terrible on that. I promise you I will answer those comments. I will acknowledge those comments. I see them come through on my phone as notifications. They make me smile. But I'm always at the office and don't usually have time to go through them right then, and then I've got the ADHD brain and I forget. Not making excuses, just want you to know that I appreciate you. I love all of you, and I ask you that you please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for one another, guys. It's a kind of crazy world out there. We're all in it together, so it's okay to have different views. It's okay to not get along or necessarily agree with everything that the community's doing or the people in the community are doing, but there's enough that we're common about, that we love, which is each other, knives, the camaraderie and fellowship that I think this knife community uniquely brings, that we should look at each other's similarities over than our differences, which is just a long, rambly ass way of me saying, have love in your heart, move forward with debate, not hate. I love all you guys. Peace.